What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm sure a lot of you guys heard about the cash tiers, or maybe have seen gameplay already. I've been talking about how this deck is going to be super oppressive in the upcoming format. We just got the announcement that they are coming to the TCG very soon with their rarity announcement. But nonetheless, the Mikanko surprisingly counter this tier 1 deck, and no one's really talking about it, so this is why we're going to be making this video. And the cash tier archetype, if you guys haven't really seen it, the whole game plan is for them to basically lock out all of the zones. They can consistently turn one, knock out 3 to 4 monster zones or in the spell and trap zone. Now, the reason why Mikanko is so good is they really only need one monster and just one spell and trap zone to really pop off. Now, when the cash tier archetype starts to lose its footing, it goes into a super defensive state. All it really tries to do is go for the Exceed monster, the Shangri-La, and then just defense up because it's got a pretty decent amount of defense. They just basically do exactly what you're seeing the opponent over here is doing. And then they're going to slowly start locking out zones, getting additional summons, and then on top of that, again, their whole goal is to lock out the zones. Now, with the archetype, the Mikankos, the reason why they are able to beat them is because, again, they only need one zone to really pop off. If you knock 4 zones out of a Synchro or like a Link deck or Exceeds deck, they cannot really go for those monsters because they need 2 monster zones to exist, right? Where the Mikankos, again, they get around that mechanic completely. Now, what is really good with the Mikanko archetype is the new Fury card. So Fury makes it so you cannot target them, so they're going to have to target the other card. Basically, to sum it up really quick, all of the Mikankos have the effect where as long as it's equipped with an equip card, it doesn't have to be a Mikanko equip card, just any equip card. You take no battle damage, and then as long as it's equipped with an equip card, so the flat effect is if it's not equipped, you take no damage from battles involving this card. But if it is, your opponent takes all of the battle damage and it can't be destroyed by battle. So basically, you can start crashing your monster into them. If you've played Gustos, you know the exact same game plan. Although the problem is they're all going to be defense mode, which is fine because they all have 0 stats. So if you can just slam into Mikanko, because this all the cash tier wants to do is make this and then go for a Rise Heart and start banishing maybe problematic cards. But the thing is that Fury has this awesome ability where your opponent can't target Mikanko cards you control with card effects. So that would include the other back row, which also protects them even further. So this protects the monster, and the monster kind of protects itself already. But then once Fury is out, like the cash tier, they're going to become very sad pandas. So you're going to see him be able to search out. And they all have the ability to search out. This one over here lets us add a Mikanko trap. This one lets add a equip spell. And then there's another one that lets us have the quick effect of snatch shielding your opponent's monster till the end phase with the water one. So it's a very easy matchup because, again, you don't need to Exceed, you don't need a Link Hack. You can throw in, you'll see in the deck profile. I know this is a really quick video, but I think that it is very important because cash tier is going to be a tier 1 deck, and then this is like what I would consider kind of a meme deck because you're just making your opponent take all of the battle damage, which is why, you know, I threw in the magic cylinder for the thumbnail because I thought it was an excellent you know, analogy because it's something that, you know, a lot of old school Yu-Gi-Oh players can relate to. Now, we didn't see the ritual here, but the ritual, I mean, it can be used, but it's usually just for that effect where that you could just reveal it in your hand and you could add a Mikanko card from your deck to your hand except for the same copy of itself. Then you discard one of the cards. So basically, the game plan is literally have one monster, equip it, and your opponent can't target the Mikanko or the Mikanko equip. And remember, you can search out all of the cards pretty consistently easy in the deck. So all you do is basically just go, okay, well, I attack, okay, you take all the damage, I attack, you take all the damage, and they don't really have maybe an easy out to it because a lot of decks are geared around, depending on the version that you see of the Kashira, a lot of them will just go ahead and try to throw out as many copies of their boss monsters as possible, just lock out the zones. But again, with this archetype, you only need one zone and one spell and trap zone, and you're good to go, which is why it counters it pretty hard. I'm going to go ahead and mouse over them real quick. This is like one of the newer cards. This is also one of the newer cards. This is the Dance of the Mikanko. So the equipped monster can't be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each effect of it once per turn. Keep in mind, though, they'll just use a Rise Heart, and they'll just start banishing your cards, but if you have, again, the new Fury, they can't because they can't target Mikanko cards, period, which includes the back row. But on top of that, if your Mikanko monster battles at the end of damage step, you can target one card on the field and return to the hand. So it's kind of like a bounce back deck. There's also an equip that bounces back cards, but I'm just going to mouse over the cards really quick. It's a very easy archetype to understand. So if you want to like fast and easy archetype to learn, you can learn this deck in probably like 10-15 minutes or just playing like a couple times. It's not a deck that has insane combos, but it's like a simple meme deck at the end of the day because what you're doing is you're making your opponent take all the battle damage. It's one of those like magical cylinder decks. Daigusto, if you're a Daigusto fan, you'll probably like this deck because it's a little bit faster and you can get out maybe 2 monsters and make your opponent just take like 6k right off the bat. I was even thinking about maybe even adding like Secret Barrel. Like you need a little bit of damage just to make it like an OTK. If you want to OTK with this deck, you can usually pull off like 6k, 5k damage relatively quick, unless you can get out triple monsters, which is not the most common thing to do with this archetype, but it's technically possible depending on how you want to build it. But I thought it was a really interesting matchup to defeat the tier 1 cast heroes, which we'll be talking about a lot more in the future. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, big shout out to Olo for his gameplay and deck over here, because I haven't seen really anyone play it, and it's crazy. Like I said, that counters the tier 1 deck that's coming out very, very soon. But if you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn on the bell so you don't miss out when we cover more new Yu-Gi-Oh decks and gameplay. Take care, I'm out. Peace.